I'm Victoria Lane. Tonight, a major development in Washington, as Mitch McConnell sends a pointed message to the Republican Party and former President Donald Trump. His actions in the Senate this week highlight a shifting dynamic in GOP leadership and national security strategy. Here's the full story. In a dramatic move on Friday night, Senator Mitch McConnell, the former GOP Senate leader, cast a pivotal vote against Pete Hegseth's nomination for Secretary of Defense. McConnell's decision made him the third Republican to oppose Hegseth, forcing Vice President JD Vance to step in and break the tie. This marked the first time since 2017 that a cabinet nominee required the vice president's intervention to be confirmed. But this was more than just a procedural hurdle. McConnell's vote sent a clear signal. He is willing to challenge Donald Trump's decisions, particularly on critical national security issues. In a statement following the vote, McConnell did not mince words, emphasizing the high stakes of the role Hegseth was about to assume. He said, and I quote, "Whoever runs the Pentagon faces a daily test that will have staggering consequences for the security of the American people and our global interests." He went on to express skepticism about Hegseth's ability to meet these demands, stating, "Mr. Hegseth has not yet demonstrated that he will pass this test. But once in office, the consequences of failure will be higher than ever." This move underscores a complex relationship between McConnell and Trump, one that has been fraught with tension in recent years. Despite voting to advance Hegseth's nomination just a day earlier, McConnell's final vote stood in sharp contrast to the former president's wishes. Trump himself seemed to anticipate resistance from McConnell. Earlier in the day, Trump quipped to reporters, "Of course, Mitch always votes no, I think." This tension is rooted in years of political clashes. The two leaders famously didn't speak for over 3 years after McConnell acknowledged Joe Biden as president-elect in December 2020. And while McConnell did ultimately vote against Trump's impeachment in 2021 and has vowed to support him if he becomes the GOP's 2024 nominee, his actions this week suggest he's not afraid to act independently when it comes to key issues like national security. Now out of leadership, McConnell holds a seat on the powerful Appropriations Subcommittee, which controls over $800 billion in annual defense spending. This position allows him to exert significant influence over defense policy. In fact, McConnell has vowed to counter what he calls the isolationist wing of the Republican Party, telling biographer Michael Tackett that he intends to make the late Senator John McCain, known for his hawkish views, look like a dove. In a speech earlier this year, McConnell warned about the importance of confirming nominees with strong national security credentials. He said, "We must confirm nominees to senior national security posts whose record and experience will make them assets, not liabilities, in the pursuit of peace through strength." Hegseth's nomination appears to have fallen short of those standards in McConnell's eyes. Hegseth, a staunch ally of Trump, faced criticism from McConnell for what the senator described as a lack of preparation to address key challenges, including Russian aggression, Iranian-backed terrorism, and the complex dynamics of NATO and China. McConnell's statement also highlighted concerns about the state of military readiness and the risks of an incomplete appropriations process. This vote may also foreshadow battles over other high-profile nominations. Sources close to McConnell suggest he has reservations about several upcoming appointments, including Tulsi Gabbard for Director of National Intelligence and Kash Patel for FBI Director. There's also speculation that McConnell could oppose the controversial nomination of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as Secretary of Health and Human Services, given Kennedy's controversial stance on vaccines. McConnell's stance on foreign policy remains steadfast. A vocal advocate for continued military aid to Ukraine, McConnell has repeatedly criticized isolationist tendencies within the GOP. In December, speaking at the Ronald Reagan Library, he declared, "America will not be made great again by those who are content to manage our decline." These comments, alongside his vote against Hegseth, underline his broader vision for America's role on the global stage. For Donald Trump, McConnell's actions represent a growing challenge from within his own party. As the 2024 election season heats up, the former president will likely face continued scrutiny and resistance from figures like McConnell, who are determined to shape the GOP's approach to governance and global leadership. This story is far from over, and we'll be keeping a close watch on developments in the Senate and beyond. For now, Mitch McConnell has made it clear. His influence in Washington is far from diminished. Stay with us on Agenda News Tube for the latest updates on this and other top stories. I'm Victoria Lane. Have a great evening.